Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to Shaping Tomorrow. Alhamdulillah, in this episode, we have once again Professor Recep Şentürk from Turkey. He was previously the founding president of Ibn Khaldun University in Istanbul, Turkey. And right now, he is currently the Dean of College of Islamic Studies under the Hamad bin Khalifa University, Doha, Qatar. In this episode, inshallah, we hope to learn from him about a very important idea and practice in the Muslim civilization. It is called Futuwwa, and recently he just published this book, this wonderful book, published by Usul Academy, which he founded as well, which tells about many interesting things that the Muslim world urgently requires. Prof, Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.
So tell us about, very briefly about the idea itself, Futuwwa. Maybe in this part of the world it's not widely heard, but I think in your part of the world, in Turkey and in your history, it's quite a common practice. But maybe you can tell us more about that, yes, Professor.
Yeah, you are right. In Turkey, in Turkish culture, and similarly in Arab culture also, Futuwwa is more commonly known, but yes, more known in Turkish culture,
right,
because this is what we inherited from the Selçukis and the Ottomans.
Right.
So, like, people know Ertuğrul.
Yes.
This is the akhlaq of Ertuğrul.
Yes.
Futuwwa is akhlaq of Ertuğrul, Osman, and all the Ottoman sultans.
Yes.
And all the Ottomans, so they practiced it.
Right.
And they established many institutions. They called ahilik.
Yes. Brotherhood, a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brotherhood and sisterhood.
Yes.
So the first person who institutionalized Futuwwa is An-Nasr li-Dinillah, this Abbasid Caliph, Khalifa.
Right.
So he established, Futuwwa institutions for the first time.
Yes.
He declared himself the chief feta.
Right.
Feta means young person, and Futuwwa means youth. But with noble character.
Yes.
Not any youth.
Yes.
So today we have like youth cultures.
Yep.
Like young people, they always entertain.
Yes.
They have like friends from other sex.
Yes.
They are rebellious.
Yes.
They don't care about morality.
Yes.
So a very corrupt and un-Islamic culture is promoted as youth culture.
Right.
So this is very dangerous, for our youth.
Yeah.
So I wanted to offer the Islamic alternative,
Okay.
youth culture,
Yeah.
and I wanted to revive this long tradition.
Yes.
The first person who wrote on Futuwwa is Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami.
Yes.
He wrote his book 1,000 years ago. It's a very short book. He codified
Right.
Islamic ethics from the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Like articles, items,
yes,
so that young people can easily learn. It's not philosophical.
Yes.
It's very practical and actionable.
Yes.
Applied.
Yes.
And he presents all messengers of Allah as role models,
Okay.
and the Sahaba as role model.
Yes.
But in particular, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anh, Sayyidatina Fatima.
Yes.
These are presented as the role model for young people. And later, like Selçukis, they established two organizations. This not during the Selçuk period. It's not established by the state. Civil society,
Right.
civil society organization. There was ahilik for male young people,
Okay.
and then Bajiyan Rum, which means sisters of Rome.
Right.
Like Rum means Rome, like Jalaladdin Rumi, for
Yes,
instance,
yes.
because Anatolia belonged to the Romans.
Right.
So people who lived in Anatolia, they were called Rumi. So
right.
Bajiyan is Persian, means sisters. Bajiyan Rum, sisters of Roman lands.
Right.
So Anatolian sisters or
Yes, yes.
Roman sisters.
And
so
they're all Muslims, obviously. by that time.
Of course, yeah. Like Rumi,
Yeah.
he's like Roman, but not Christian,
Yeah,
Muslim.
Yeah.
So two organizations, one for male and the other for female.
Yes.
And those people, they adopted the akhlaq
Right.
of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, and they were committed to practice it in their lives. So they also developed some symbols.
Right.
This 8-corner store,
Yes.
the star with 8 corners,
Yes.
it's their symbol.
Yes.
And each corner represents a value
Yes.
of Futuwwa, like being patient, giving priority to the others,
yeah.
being compassionate, taking care of the others, which we call ithar. Ithar ethics. So basically, Futuwwa ethics is an altruistic ethics.
To be selfless.
Selfless
to
and
think
giving
about
priority
to others,
to the others.
Yes.
And how it's justified, like why do you give priority to other people while you need something? This is the akhlaq of Sahaba. وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصًا. Because in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala describes the Ansar, they gave priority to Muhajirun, although they had dire needs.
Yes.
But who taught them this ithar? Rasulullah ﷺ taught it.
Yes.
And they knew that when they practice ithar, they will be rewarded by Allah Ta'ala.
MashaAllah.
In the hereafter, in paradise.
Yes.
So basically, it's an investment for the akhirah.
Yes, yes. Prof, you mentioned many important things there. I think partly it's very interesting the fact that this codification of Islamic ethics, or what we term as Futuwwa, has been widely practiced to such an extent that it's adopted by the leaders as well as the business community, the traders, the Ahi group that you mentioned, the brotherhood and the sisterhood. Can you tell us what kind of impact this had on Turkish Ottoman society, for instance?
Yeah.
Prof? Yeah.
This is this brought about like a cohesion in society, solidarity in society, commitment to Islamic moral principles and values. This is one of the secrets, like the Ottoman society survived for so many centuries, like 6, 7 centuries. Although they were like very rich, very powerful. Like according to Ibn Khaldun's theory, when people get rich and powerful, this undermines their values, their morality.
Yes.
What Ottomans did, they promoted Futuwwa, to counterbalance the negative impact of wealth and power on people, on young people. So they were like practicing the Sunnah lifestyle. And when you practice Sunnah lifestyle, regardless how rich you are, how powerful you are, they wouldn't influence you. They wouldn't corrupt you. So basically, Futuwwa means Sunnah, akhlaq. And reviving Futuwwa means reviving the Sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ, but in a very simplified way.
On that note, Prof, I'm wondering you could share with us how was it taught to the Muslim society in those days? Because then it's a very different context, but I'm sure they had scholars playing a very prominent role to educate the society. But maybe you could shed light for us, for those of us not aware with how this is being taught, as in society.
So those great scholars, when they observed that there is like a need for akhlaq, supporting, solidifying akhlaq, so they wrote like very simple books, very short and easily understandable. For instance, the first book written by Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulami, Kitab al-Futuwwa, is very short, 20 pages, and it lists like do's and don'ts with little explanation and justification. Although Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulami is a great scholar, he has books like multiple volumes. But he wanted to make it simple for the young people. And like Ashraf al-Rumi, Burghazi, and many others wrote books like that. And when I noticed the need, to revive and solidify the moral foundation of akhlaq in our youth, I also followed the same style when I wrote that book.
Okay.
You know, like my first intention was to write like an academic book,
Yep.
maybe like a 500 pages, 1,000 pages.
Yes.
But then I realized young people are not gonna read it.
Yeah,
So I want to make a very short book with illustrations in it, and also codified.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, do that, don't do that, with little explanation. It's enough for them. So Alhamdulillah, you know, the book gained big popularity in Turkey, and even like Ministry of Youth and
Turkey.
Sports, they published
Right.
thousands of copies, and they distributed. It became like a bestseller.
Okay.
And recently, like one of my friends sent me a picture of a young man, you know, trying to read my book on Futuwwa in metro.
Okay.
In the train, while the train is going and
Okay.
he's shaking. So I'm so happy to see this picture, you know, because this was my ultimate goal.
Yes.
And then, you know, with the English translation also, I want to like spread more, like outside Turkey, because this is a problem of the Ummah in general.
Yes.
Like our countries, you know, economically developing, but if you don't pay attention to the moral aspect of this wealth and power, you know, will have negative impact on our morality. And on the other hand, our morality is attacked by this postmodern ideology.
Yes. Through various means.
Yes, exactly. So there are many reasons why we have to promote Futuwwa.
Yes.
And one of the important reasons is that our youth is under siege by this postmodern ideology, which presents itself like a progressive, like a liberal, but it's very destructive because it's against religion, it's against family, and also it's against akal.
Yes.
So like who says there is no truth? Somebody who lost his akal. You know, someone who has akal, can he say, you know, there is no truth?
Yeah.
So that's why I say postmodern ideology is the opium of humanity.
Oh, okay.
You know, only people like who take opium, they may say, no, there is no truth. So like we have to, you know, protect akal of our youth, religion of our youth, also family, you know, of our youth. So that's why we need Futuwwa. We have to teach it to our youth and explain to them why this is better than this postmodern ethics.
Okay, I understand, Prof. Maybe before we go further about your thoughts on how urgent it is for our civilization, maybe you could give us a taster of some of the principles, some of the wisdom that is contained in this Futuwwa ethics, and as you discuss in your book.
Yes. So the first principle of Futuwwa is muwafakat.
Okay.
This is how Abdurrahman as-Sulami defines it. He says al-Futuwwa al-muwafaqa.
Right.
Yeah, that means muwafakat means being agreeable.
Yes.
Compliance.
Yes.
You know, with your friends.
Yes.
Rather than insisting, either my way or highway.
Okay.
You know,
imposing.
Imposing
your views.
So, like like in Turkish, we have a good definition for this. We say friendship is to say yes.
Wonderful, beautiful.
So if you say yes to your friends, you know, yes to your spouse, yes to your parents, yes to your children, you know, friendship and the social relations will survive longer. But to be able to say this, there are prerequisites.
Okay.
You have to be humble.
Right.
You have to respect other sides.
Okay.
And you should also know that when you give up your own opinion, this is practicing the sunnah of Rasulullah. Because muwafaqa is the sunnah of Rasulullah. And there are many occasions where Rasulullah, out of respect for his companions, he changed his mind and followed what they have said.
Right,
but of course, this should be in the domain of mubah. Not something haram.
Yes, of course.
We cannot agree with something haram. In the domain of mubah. So, I mean, the opposite is this egoism, egocentrism, self-centrism. Okay, you insisting on your view, and you want everybody to agree with you and to follow you. You know, So Futuwwa teaches don't do this.
Yeah.
But the modern or the postmodern ethics teaches self-interest,
Right.
and it also teaches that other people should work to make you happier.
Oh, yeah.
You ask, how can my parents make me happier?
Yeah.
How can my friends
It's
make me happier?
Self-entitlement.
How can my wife makes me happier?
Okay.
But Futuwwa reverses the question.
Okay.
How can make my parents happier?
Yes.
How can I make my wife happier?
Yeah.
How can I make my friends happier?
Yes.
And the goal is gain blessing of Allah Ta'ala.
Yes. Yes.
You
But
know,
also,
when you make
yeah.
other people happy,
Yes.
you gain blessing of Allah Ta'ala.
Yes.
Because in our religion, tabassumuka li akhika sadaqatun.
Yes.
You know, your smile to other people is charity.
Yes, Prof. MashaAllah. And also, I believe, I mean, it is also, it is the subject of this futuwwa is about developing noble character.
Yes.
And that is something I think youth all around the world, they yearn for, but except maybe their role model, their cultural references, is perhaps not the best ones that they have because they're exposed to what is there in the mainstream media. But I think what this Futuwwa model does is that it redirects the consciousness of the youth, of the believers, of the Muslims, to the right kind of questions, because like the question of respect, this dignity, you want to have strong character. All of this has been already elaborated by our ulama in this, in particular in this Futuwwa books. Yes, Professor.
Yeah. You know, I sometimes translate Futuwwa as honor code.
Honor code, yeah.
Of
and
Muslim youth.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Honor code of Muslim youth.
Yes.
Because our honor comes from our akhlaq.
Right, right.
You know, and our youth should know that our honor is our akhlaq.
Yes.
If we lose our akhlaq, we have no more honor.
Yes.
A Muslim young girl should know that her honor comes from following Islamic akhlaq.
Yes.
And when she loses Islamic akhlaq, she loses her honor.
Yes.
A Muslim young boy must know that his honor comes from following akhlaq.
Yes.
You know, according to Sunnah of Rasulullah. And when he loses this, he loses his honor. That's why I call it, you know, honor code of Muslim youth. So it elevates youth to a higher level, and it teaches them how to live a dignified life and honorable
regardless your standing in life.
Yes, exactly. You know, so a dignified life comes from following the teachings of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and the role model of all messengers before him, and the role model of ashab and all the as-salaf as-salihin, you know, before us. Honor does not come simply following your hedonistic desires.
Right, right.
Yeah, running after sex, running after entertainment, you know, running after money, running after reputation and fame. These things are not going to bring you honor. Of course, these things are, you know, provided by Islam within the halal domain.
Sure, sure.
Within the halal domain.
Yes.
You know, but your nafs tells you don't accept any limits. Like this, those postmodernist people, you know, they have this philosophy: if you feel good, do it.
Right.
Because they have no other criteria. Like the animals, you know, like if you feel good, do it. Because they have no halal, no haram, and also they say kill the police in your mind. Then you become like an animal, because animal doesn't have a police in his mind. But we have vijdan, you know, we have akal, you know, we have reason, you know, in our mind that guides us. You know,
you mentioned in your book, interestingly, Prof, this idea of futuwwa is ingrained in the cultural genes and collective memory of humanity worldwide. In the West, it's known as chivalry. In the East, for example, is the Bushido, code of honor. When you
samurai culture.
Yes. So there's the parallels with these great traditions in the world, basically.
Yeah, because akhlaq is the common property of all humanity. It is taught by messengers of Allah Ta'ala to all people, and we know that Allah Ta'ala sent, you know, tons of thousands of messengers all over the world to Japan, to China, to India, to Latin America, to Europe, everywhere.
Right.
And they taught good morality, this altruistic morality, respecting others, taking care of others and helping others. That's why we have these common values everywhere. And the Kitab al-Futuwwa of Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami has been translated to Japanese. And Japanese liked it so much, it became bestseller for a while.
Yes.
Why? Because it completely overlaps with samurai culture,
Right.
with Bushido, in Japan.
Interesting.
So like all religions, in their authentic forums,
Yes.
they teach authentic morality,
Right.
authentic ethics.
Yeah.
But unfortunately today, those religions, they were defeated by this hedonistic, egoistic, postmodern ethics.
Yep.
So Christianity lost,
Yep.
Judaism lost,
Yep.
Hinduism, Buddhism lost.
Okay.
So the whole world became dominated
Yes.
by this postmodern ethics, which is very relativistic, subjectivist,
Yeah.
hedonistic,
Yeah.
godless.
And damaging ultimately
Yeah,
to the human
and this
condition.
has a big negative impact
Yes.
on the individual themselves
Yes.
and also on the society.
Yeah.
So those religions, they no longer defend, this altruistic ethics.
Sure.
They don't have the power, resilience to defend, this prophetic, divine ethics,
Right.
religious ethics against secular, modern or postmodern approach.
Yes.
But Muslims, alhamdulillah, they
Alhamdulillah.
are still powerful.
Yes.
They are still resilient.
Yes.
They can defend it. But if we don't do anything,
Yeah.
we'll become like Christians and Jews who submit
Sure. Sure.
themselves to secular, modern or postmodern ethics. That's why our governments, our education system, our civil society organizations, the families, parents,
Yes.
they should take measures,
Yes.
to protect their children and youth from this propaganda,
Right.
which comes very implicitly
Yes.
through social media, through entertainment industry, through fiction, through narratives.
Yes.
They are all infiltrating to our society, and we have to take some measures to alert.
Okay.
At least alert.
Okay. On that point, Professor, indeed is very urgent. We can sense the immense need and urgency for things like this ethics, this Futuwwa idea as well as practice to be widespread in societies like ours in Malaysia and the Muslim world. What would you recommend to Muslim government, perhaps here in Malaysia as well as all around the Muslim world? Because also you have spoken in Sarawak here, we're in Sarawak, about how it's important in the context of civilization as well. So what would you say in terms of, would you recommend this to be taught in universities, for instance, Professor?
Yeah, it should be at all levels of education.
Right.
From kindergarten to elementary school, secondary school, high school, and the university.
Yes.
Unfortunately, today our education system serves as an instrument of westernization,
Right.
postmodernization,
Right.
because Western, modern, and postmodern materialist, individualistic, and relativist ethics is presented to our youth
Yes.
in the guise of science.
Okay.
Through psychology, sociology, anthropology, economics, political science. So our education system doesn't serve to produce, good Muslims with good morality, with good ethics.
Yes.
So every education system produces the ideal person for that particular country and civilization.
Yes.
But unfortunately, our education system is not designed to produce the ideal Muslim.
Right. It has neglected ethics. A lot of it.
So it's focusing on the academic and professional side, neglecting the ethical side.
Right.
But when you look at the education method of Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam, it's explained in the Quran.
Yes.
يُعَلِّمُهُمْ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ. He teaches them,
Yes.
he makes ta'aleem.
Ta'aleem.
Ta'aleem of the kitab, ta'aleem of the hikmah, but at the same time tazkiyah,
Right.
spiritual purification.
Yes.
So he combines ta'aleem and tazkiyah, academic, rational, professional education, plus moral education,
Yes.
spiritual purification.
Yes.
So today we exclusively focus on ta'aleem,
Yes.
and we adopted as the goal of our education producing professionals,
Yes.
people who have career,
Yes.
jobs.
Yes.
But Islamic education adopts the goal of producing insan.
Yes.
And the perfect insan is Rasulullah ﷺ, like a good insan,
Yes.
good human beings,
Yes.
in a holistic sense.
Yep.
And this is needed to educate future generations successful and happy.
MashaAllah.
Only focus on professional education, academic education is not going to ensure
Yes.
that our next generations will be both successful and happy.
Yes,
They need
true.
both ta'aleem and tazkiyah. So ta'aleem and tazkiyah must be introduced to our educational system from kindergarten to university.
Yes, mashallah. Thank you so much, Professor. Maybe you could advise our viewers how if they could purchase this book, if it's still available.
Yes,
to be
yes,
purchased?
it's available online,
Yes.
either through Amazon or through Usul Academy, inshallah.
inshallah.
And by the way, Usul Academy is a global virtual madrasa.
Yes.
It offers Islamic education
Yeah.
to students from all over the world,
Yes.
because it's online.
Yes.
So there's like 1 year Arabic program, 4 years BA program, 2 years MA program in comparative Islamic studies, and then 1 year comparative social sciences to develop a comparative and critical perspective on Western social sciences and offer their alternatives.
Right.
It's, during the week, it's asynchronic.
Yes.
During the weekend, discussions through Zoom.
Yes.
So 9 hours per week.
Yes.
And 3 semesters, a trimester system.
Yes.
And then over the summer, sohbet in Istanbul,
Yes.
face to face.
Yes.
So it's a truly hybrid
Wonderful.
system to offer knowledge, to students of knowledge all over the world.
Yes.
Who cannot like travel in person.
Sure.
So we have students from all over the world, from Japan, from Hong Kong, from Africa, from America,
right.
and also teachers,
Yes.
instructors from all over the world. Education is in English and Arabic.
Good, very good. And of course, this will be imparted as well in the Usul Academy as part of your
Inshallah.
ongoing initiative in Turkey and Qatar. Alhamdulillah, ladies and gentlemen, we are most honored to have with us Professor Recep Şentürk. He is currently the Dean of College Islamic Studies, Hamad bin Khalifa. He's a prominent professor and a scholar, of course. He was previously the founding president of Ibn Khaldun University in Istanbul, Turkey. Alhamdulillah, in this episode of Shaping Tomorrow, we have been learning from him about the idea and the practice of Futuwwa in the Muslim civilization, which is urgently needed today. Thank you very much, Professor, once
You're
again.
welcome. You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that, wabillahi tawfiq wal hidayah, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.